So on the list of electronics that perpetually piss me off is my GoPro, which again, randomly turning itself off. Last night when I was flying, it ran fine all the way out to Madison County where I was working on an airplane, another RV-12. Just kept shutting itself off and then wouldn't come back on again. Just did it again this morning, but it did come back on again. Anyway, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Tower's not open for half an hour. It's pleasant out. Outside air temperature is right around 71 degrees Fahrenheit, which is much better than 71 degrees Celsius. Tower's not open. We're heading up to Port Clinton to work on an RV-12. I worked on it before. This is the last trip to Port Clinton, or a previous trip to Port Clinton. We're just going to finish that up. I was repitching the propeller and didn't get quite enough bite on it, so it still goes over red line. So we're going to do that again, which may or may not involve carb balancing again. I've got all the tools for whatever I need. We can just go ahead and taxi. There is no tower. There's no control. For another half hour, so we can just do whatever we want. Wind is calm. Runway my choice. The only real weather is already past us. It's down here over Lockbourne, which is Rickenbacker. It's clear all the way up to Port Clinton, so that's not going to be a problem. So everything should be just fine. Well, quit again. I don't know where the money's going to come from, but at some point I just need a GoPro that works. This is a GoPro 4. I don't know what they're up to, GoPro 75 or whatever they're up to, who knows. But the damn thing keeps quitting on me. So I guess I was saying, oh yes, working on that airplane. Prior to it being ferried down to Houston, I decided that a very good person to ferry it down there would be he himself to do it. He's coming up here in a couple weeks, and we're going to go through getting current again, flying, which he will do in either my airplane or his, depending on where we are with the status of his. And rather than have him go flying all the way down to Houston with about 4 or 5 hours and a recent VFR under his belt, I'm going to go with him. And we'll both fly it down there. And we'll get him a VFR before he leaves, so he'll be legal, and that way he can log those hours. And the more hours he can log, the better off he's going to be with his insurance company from the get-go. So, been doing a lot of that. That's going to be probably a big thing in the next couple weeks. Went out there last night to do a little bit of work on the airplane. It's been sitting for a while. And just kind of assess what's in it, what's not. The big finding was it doesn't have ADS-B, which I really don't want to fly all the way down to Houston without this kind of weather depiction. Even I hope not to see that, but we're not going that direction anyway. But the point is, there's stuff to be added to it. I think the ADS-B is the most critical, and the 2020 compliance is obviously that's coming up very soon. We're halfway through the year already, more than halfway through the year. So there's that kind of thing. And then just general, there wasn't much. I think we'll go ahead and do an oil change because my view of this is RV-12 is really a very easy airplane to fly, and any instructor could teach him to fly it. But owning an RV-12 is not the same as flying an RV-12. Just like with any other airplane, there is maintenance that can be done. Typically on a store-bought, that's brake pads and tires and things of that nature, upholstery, whatever. With the RV-12, of course, it's every single thing he can do. So we will do an oil change. I think the oil is probably midlife. We'll go ahead and do an oil change because it's different on a Rotax. We'll balance the carburetors because why not? And that's another thing to learn how to do. We'll probably not mess with the pitch on the propeller if it's where it needs to be. We'll just leave it there. But generally learn how to take care of an RV-12 and do the maintenance that you're comfortable doing and probably to save reasonable amounts of money should be doing. So look forward to that. I'll probably have that video up. I don't know when. There's going to be another one, obviously, right behind it. So we're at the end of the runway, and I am on 121.8 for ground, and I'm 128.1. Interestingly enough, last night I was taxiing in, and now even when the tower is closed, I listen to on the way in. I go ahead and put the ground frequency on for two reasons. One is so I don't forget. The next time I get in the plane and it's on tower and I call ground, which is not a big risk. The other is, it's only a single taxiway down there, so it's kind of a courtesy call, you know, coming up Bravo, coming down Bravo, so you don't go nose to nose and get stuck. In any event, I am tooling along, monitoring ground, and I hear a guy, he's 4 miles out on a lengthy straight in to runway 4, which indicates to me a practice IFR approach. And I told him, I'm hearing you on ground, so unless you're transmitting on both, you're probably on the wrong frequency. And then he proceeded to argue with me that 128.1, which is the tower frequency and the CTAF frequency, is actually the ground frequency, and the ground frequency is 128. Well, he says ground is 128.1, tower is 121.8, which is patently wrong. I've been doing this for 20-some years. It's written on every single chart. He says, well, I'm looking right at it. I don't know what he was looking at, probably something he wrote down himself. I assume he's just a charter member of the Ohio Dyslexic Pilots Club. But in any event, there was no point in arguing with him, but the problem was there were 2 other airplanes in the pattern that weren't hearing him, and there's only so much you can do. So I'm going to get the run-up done. I'm going to do and then we're going to be taking off, and probably not too chatty on the way up. It's really an hour of just droning along, unless something interesting happens, like more weather pop up. So talk to you in a bit. Okay, everything's in the green. Everything ran fine. We're ready to go. Nothing to say to the tower. So I'm going to self-announce on the what I consider to be the CTAF frequency, and other people disagree. Here we go. Full traffic, experimental 284 Delta Golf, departing runway 22, right turn out, heading north. All right, nobody's listening, so do whatever we want. Okay. Well, it's kind of gray down that way. I'm glad I'm going the other way. That's this stuff. It wouldn't be hard to get around. It just looks spooky. It's ominous. Okay. Full tanks, just me. We'll be off in about, 3 feet. Calm air. That's not going to give me any boost, but here we go. They're lined up. And here we go. And we're off. Now there's a neighborhood. I don't want to turn too soon, but if I wait too long, I end up going right over this neighborhood, which is kind of rude this time of the morning. So I think we'll just extend out past it, just to be friendly. Just to be neighborly. There it is. So we're clear of that. We'll go ahead and make our turn. Actually, go up here and take a pic. Well, yeah, are you quitting again? Okay, you're still there. Get back with me, man. I got work to do. Okay, we're going to do this pretty much on the autopilot today. It's nice and calm and smooth, but it's early yet. I've only had 1 cup of coffee, so we'll let the autopilot do some work. So let's see, we want to go to 3,500. I'm going to dial that in. 3,500 feet, and I want to get on nav, so we're going to say nav, and I want altitude, and I want to go up, and I want to turn all that on. Okay, so roll is GPS. Vertical speed 600 foot per minute to an altitude of 3,500 feet, so the autopilot is in charge. We can see how it's going to intercept the course. I probably have some control over that at this point. That depends on how far away I am from it. It seems to want to do its own thing, which is just fine by me. It is flying the airplane, so we're good to go. So it's going to be about an hour. It's going to be hazy. There's not going to be much to see. So unless something really important happens, I'm just going to drone along. I mean flying, not droning along, talking like I'm doing right now. So we'll probably get above this haze layer at about a couple thousand feet. Probably go right over it. Probably be nice up there. It looks like a good morning, so it's nice and smooth. That's all I really ask for. It'll be hot later, of course. It'll be bumpy later. So we enjoy this flight. The one on the way back, probably be bumpy and hand flying. We'll see how it goes.
Southwest 262, turn right heading 0.
I have an update on the Civil Air Patrol thing. I got an orientation ride in the Cessna 182 with the G1000 panel, which is bigger and fancier than this, and 2 huge screens. The panel, basically in that airplane, the panel is what you see. It comes up to about here, so very little actual forward visibility. Big, heavy airplane compared to this, so it's going to take a while. I mean, it's been 600, 700 flying hours since I've flown anything but a Van's airplane. So getting used to the 182, I'm not sure I want to do it that way. I think they also have a 172 that has the Garmin 1000. And I think I would rather be in an airplane that's a little less complicated than 182 while I'm learning the G1000. The concepts are very, very similar, of course. There's only so many ways to describe autopilot modes, but the switches are just everywhere. The buttons and switches are everywhere, just all over the panel. The audio panel alone is that big. So I want to be able to concentrate on the G1000 without having to worry about cowl flaps, RPM, just a simple throttle and mixture type airplane, which even with mixture and carb heat is more complicated than this airplane. So I did enjoy it. It's a very, very nice airplane. It's a very smooth, steady ride. I wouldn't mind having one, except for 10 or 11 gallon per hour to do 115 knots. That's kind of spendy. You got to need that space and that hauling capacity, but it is a very nice airplane. So I become ever more enthusiastic about really getting wrapped up in the Civil Air Patrol. A lot of the initial training you have to do is online, so I worked through all of that. I have all my certificates ready to go to start getting really serious about this. So very much looking forward to that. Got a lot of neat things coming up. So we have another 45 minutes to go.
Show you descending out of 1,700 feet. That's not accurate then?
This is interesting. This guy got a low altitude alert.
Contact Rick Backer Tower. You have a good day.
From approach, told me you're at 1,700 descending, and that's like 500 AGL at best. Well, it's probably 700 AGL, but still. And apparently that's an erroneous reading on his transponder.
I maintain 10,000, 10,000.
But that was interesting. I love listening to this stuff because all kinds of interesting things happen.
Just to double check it, Columbus altimeter 3014. I am now showing you out of 1,300 feet and still descending.
Wow. Something wrong with altimeter and or transponder. 1,300, I mean, is I'm on final. I mean, short final.
From Britain, top altitude squawk, it differs by more than 200 feet.
Crossing the field, midfield 2,000 feet, and entering the downwind for 36 Portland.
Okay, 36. Nice to know. He's got a very weak radio. I have to have the volume turned way up high. Okay, I'm gonna drop about 500 feet, get us down to 3,000. Field elevation is like 500 something. But I do like we're gonna go over the skinny part of the bay here, so I won't be over the water for a long time, but generally, if I'm going to be over the water, I keep a little bit of altitude in my pocket just because. This airplane will come down if I need it to, so it's not like I'm going to have trouble shedding that altitude.
Portland traffic 42 Victor crossing the approach into 36.
Okay, not a problem.
Portland traffic 284 duck off 3 mile left base 36 Portland.
And there's flaps. Commensurate down nose down. All right. Don't see anybody. The air is clear, clear, clear. If there's anybody out there, I ought to be able to see them. Still a little fast. Gonna have to slow it down a bit. All right, flaps are down, everything's ready to go for the landing. There's the runway right there, where it belongs.
Expect you over the field at 2,100 northbound, left downwind. Port Clinton, 284 Delta Golf, final 36, Port Clinton.
That wind is from the right. We're gonna have to crab a little bit here. A little choppy down here. Somebody's been doing donuts on the runway. Kids. Oh, come on, come on. Hunt for that runway, hunt for that. There it is. There we go. Not too bad. Some air, it's warmer down here. Woo. Okay, well here we are. You guys still running? Yep, I'm going to shut you down now and talk to you on the way back. And again, the camera quit. We are climbing like a bat out of hell because we're going to be heading over the water. And I want to get as much altitude as I can. Tower, experimental 284 Delta Golf, 6 miles north, inbound landing.
Experimental 284 Delta Golf, Bowden Tower, port of midfield, left downwind to runway 4, wind 0905, altimeter 3016.
Report midfield left downwind, runway 4 Delta Golf. Exactly what I expected. I love it when a plan comes together. There's the runway in sight.
3 November Mike, runway 4, clear for the option, on the go, right close traffic.
Clear for the option, runway 4, right traffic.
Level off here at 2500, that's low enough for now. Turn up the air conditioning. Get a little toasty. It's all of 71 degrees outside. I shouldn't be hot, but the canopy is like a greenhouse. Alright, now we can get a little closer to pattern altitude or a little bit closer to the airport. Could glide from here if I had to. Tower 4 Delta Golf, midfield left downwind, runway 4.
4 Delta Golf, runway 4, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 4 Delta Golf. All the road closed signs are gone. They disappeared sometime while I was gone, and our road is open again. So just a couple minutes drive to the airport, not going all the way the hell around it. Got tired of that in a hurry. All right, flaps. That finishes our pre-landing checklist. Flaps down. It looks like the camera quit again, which is a shame. It was a beautiful landing, an absolute greaser. Not making that up, it was a beautiful landing. Oh well. Maybe someday I get a better GoPro or something that actually works that's not a GoPro. I'm getting very frustrated by this. Okay, well, it was a nice flight. Interesting flight. A lot of fun. Glad you're able to ride along.